You might want to mute your microphone, Wes, until we get started.
Hello, everybody. Today we have a very special show. We've got Wes McDonald joining Jerry Hubbell and I, and we're real excited to have him on because he's going to show us how to connect Sky Safari, which is a super popular planetarium program, to the PMC-Eight. And so great to have you on again. I think Wes was on our very first show. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. He was on our first show, and he was a great guest then. He's going to be a great guest today. He's done a lot for us over the last couple of years, actually.
Right. That's great. So so far we've got Nico Rochia from Argentina. That's great, and of course Bergman Scooter's on with us right now, and Wolfgang Sean. Good evening to all from Germany. Hope you all are in a good mood and health. That's great. Thank you, man. Uh, and We have Mr. Thumb 30 here saying hello to everybody, which is cool. And you see how I'm able to put
What?
your messages up there, so that's kind of cool. Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and Ansel Puri says hello to everyone. So, and Dusty Haskins. So,
Dusty. Yeah,
yeah,
the regulars.
yeah, they're all coming on here. What happened to you guys? Brian Threlkeld, hey from Tennessee, and Terry Holland is on with us as well. It's very nice. Yeah, I'll put your comments up as you guys have them up there if they are appropriate. Okay, so there you go.
That's right.
That's right. So, Jerry, you worked with Wes today because we're kind of doing a multiple connection, I guess, to show how this whole dang thing works. So
Yeah, we're doing
now
some.
this is
We're
not how
testing.
you would do this for um, actual using it. I mean, but for broadcasting it,
Well, some of it is. I mean, we're going to show the
oh,
connection
all
via
right, I'll
how
let
it
you guys
works.
explain what's going on, and I'll just shut up.
No, that's fine. The
Okay. All right, so I'll let you take it away here, Wes.
Okay. So the lash up that Scott's referring to for everybody is just how we make all of the pictures show up and end up in the broadcast. When we actually go to use Sky Safari, it's a straight up hookup to the equipment. So I wanted to start out just Sky Safari, if you all don't know about it, it's a fun thing to load and take a look at. It's a wonderful planetarium program. It has lots of nice features, including a virtual reality mode, or actually they call it a augmented reality mode. So you look through the screen and it shows you what you're looking at and adapts the what it's displaying using your phone's compass and gyros and everything. So that's kind of nice, and it also has the capability to control telescopes. And as we'll see in a little bit, the thing can natively talk to a lot of telescopes. It doesn't natively talk to our PMC-Eights, but that's easily handled by what we're going to show you today. So the setup to make this happen involves a number of pieces of equipment. So the system, of course, as we can see here, has a, let's see, is my cursor showing up? Can people see that? Am I on the right screen?
Yeah.
Start sharing your screen here. There we go. Yep.
All right, very good. So we have a wireless LAN, and it's going to connect to an iPhone or an Android tablet. The application runs on either one of those things. We, of course, have a PC here, and we're going to make all the ASCOM stuff be in there, and the PMC-Eight connected by serial connection. And this is important to have because we're getting some feedback there, Scott. It's not me or you.
I'm fine.
Well,
I hear a little bit of feedback all of a sudden too.
Yeah.
There, I'll blank my audio. Of course, now I can't. I don't know if I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know what that was. Go ahead.
All right. So the it's important because we need to free up the Wi-Fi connection between the PC and the iPhone, and the PMC-Eight can't support wireless routing. So the PMC-Eight needs to be connected by serial to make this all happen. So we'll have an iPhone, and on it we'll put the Sky Safari app. That's this little blue box here, and that has to be a Sky Safari of flavor Plus or Pro. And right now they're selling the Plus. It's a version 6, Plus or Pro. I just went on today. I think the Plus is $7, and it's worth every dime of it. Aside from telescope control, you get a lot more stars. But if you don't feel like doing telescope control and you just want a great planetarium program, they have a free version, which is incredible all by itself. And so you can get that. Anyhow, you put that up on your iPhone. I'm going to just use iPhone as a reference, so I don't. But understand it's Android's fine. Your PC, you're going to have your ASCOM platform loaded, and we're going to be running POTH, of course. And we have this little helper app called Wi-Fi Scope, and we can download that too. And that runs on your PC. And what Wi-Fi Scope does is it catches one of the many scope languages that Sky Safari talks. As the commands come in over the wireless LAN, they get caught by the Wi-Fi scope, which converts them into ASCOM methods that's then sent on to the POTH. So you see we've abstracted the Wi-Fi scope. Well, POTH and ASCOM abstracts the mount to its own environment. And so this is how the specifics of the mount is handled by Jerry's driver. So that's another layer of abstraction. So the Wi-Fi scope is a little helper app, it's a little connector that grabs these commands coming in and switches them around so that they look like POTH methods. The POTH method is sent to the ASCOM driver. The ASCOM driver turns it into what's needed to make the PMC-Eight real scope.
Into the PMC-Eight command language, that's right.
So that's kind of what I wanted to show before we get cracking, because we're going to have all these different elements talking to each other. One of the things I'll point out, this thing is actually a document, coming off of a document that I've about got written, and it includes the places to go get the software from. There's a link to main sequence software where the Wi-Fi scope is found. And of course, you can find these things just by Googling them too. And I've got a link I thought in here for Sky Safari. There it is right there, skysafariastronomy.com. So this will be out there, and this will be in the file section. So if you can reference it, and it's going to take you through step by step what all to do, albeit in an abbreviated form, but I trust it'll be adequate for someone to follow, because it's really simple. And the only thing that might not be simple today when we do this is a little recalcitrance on the part of my network up here to make this all happen. I will say, this wireless LAN that's shown here, this thing can be any wireless LAN, and so it could be your home LAN if you wanted, which works fine. I do it that way when I'm just fooling around in the study, but I also have a wireless router that I hook up and take with me to star parties, and I'd set up a little wireless LAN. I call it AstroNet. Yay! And that's, everything hooks to that, and it throws out the IP addresses and routes the signals around and works just fine.
So that's a local. So that's a local LAN, a wireless LAN that you actually set up with the router that's standalone and independent of everything else that's out there in the field.
Yeah. No connection to the internet, but and it assigns IP addresses and all of those things, and so all the stuff can work just fine with it. Now there are some people here who have been fooling with the RN131 module that's in the Exos 2 at least, and it has capabilities, and I think it has wireless router capabilities. I've gone so far as to try to set configurations. I never push the button on it to have it store it and reboot and use them, because I was always afraid that I would have messed them up, and then I didn't want to open up my PMC-8 and have to reset it that way and then start again. So I've never done it. I just said, okay, you know what? I've got these routers laying around, and it's stupid to have to use them on some level, but on the other level, it's stupid for me to open up my PMC-8 unnecessarily. So I'm not doing it. And
your back if you do. So
yeah. I'd rather add another piece of hardware I had in the closet. Okay, so that's with that said, final thing is, in your iPhone, I'd suggest, in fact, I need to be sure to do this, that you set your iPhone on airplane mode, so that you don't have to worry about it. Go out.
Not airplane mode, right? Because that disconnects your network too, right?
No, you get to have
airplane mode, then turn on your Wi-Fi. You know.
Right, and mine, it never shuts down the Wi-Fi.
Okay.
I've never done this. I have never done this while I was zooming, so I don't know if I'm still zooming or not on my phone. We'll find out the hard way in a minute.
Yeah. Trying something how to break it while we tested it earlier.
Yeah, I know. You told me not to break it. Yeah, I know. But the demonstration effect is going to break it anyway, so we might as well just get it over with right up front. Okay, so let's see here. Let's see, the next step, Jerry, I want to get rid of this, so I need to stop screen sharing over here, right? And go to the other thing.
Let's see.
All right.
Go
to your phone.
We have comments. And I've been posting some of these things up here, but it doesn't come up very well. So Wolfgang says, I ask me always, why to bring the PC out on the field? I'm 56 years old, and I don't like to carry that many things with me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, with it, I mean, that's almost a religious question. It's a philosophical question. At this point, with the Sky Safari, I'm going to dodge it.
How heavy your computer is, so.
But I'm going to dodge it completely and just say, Sky Safari won't command the PMC-8 natively yet.
Okay.
And whether it does in the future or not, I couldn't say. But if it ever did,
yeah,
well, okay, it would be a replacement. Your handset, your phone would run Sky Safari. Would basically be a replacement for the Explore Stars tablet.
Sure.
And so you're not really needed to do it. It's not needed. Let's see. I think I'm trying to figure out if I've got the right screen showing, Jerry. I think I do, don't I? If I go to exit full screen, that's what we wanted there.
Right. There you go.
But,
that's your phone, right? That's the Zoom
no,
session.
That's nothing, but it's just because it's showing it. But I think I can, now I believe I can share my phone.
Yeah.
That's just his phone right there.
Well, this
Yeah.
is going to pop up. His phone is dialed in as a Zoom contestant, and there it is. There's his phone.
I see.
And
Oh,
he'll shorten this up so that there it is.
All right, so Jerry, remember, if I start wondering what
he's
button to
sharing
press
the
next.
image from his phone right now.
Yes,
That's the screen.
Yeah, and you know, it's just one of these things. It's amazing. There it is. All right. So can everybody see these icons on my phone?
Yeah, here, I'll just focus in on this.
Okay. Now remember, everybody, we had something called, well, we had to get POTH going, and that'll start up ASCOM and everything.
Okay.
And we had to connect to our PMC-Eight, and we had to have this little thing called Wi-Fi scope. Now, if you're focused in, you won't see the icon up there, but it's in the upper right of my screen.
Yeah, you can see it.
All right, so we're gonna first start off, and we got to do this, and we got to get POTH going. So we're just gonna get POTH, and we'll start that thing. And there she is. Now, folks, you all have done this 100 times, and Jerry asked me to just show it one last time. In POTH, you have this ability to do a setup, and you can go in and you can choose your scope from POTH. And of course, it's set up for the telescope ES PMC-Eight, and we can set the properties by going there. And of course, you have all of your goodies in here without going through them. But this is how you get to it, of course.
Okay.
All right, so we're done with that. And we also, if we had, POTH remembers that you last were hooked up to the Explore Scientific PMC-Eight. So you could just go, if you wanted to change something in the driver, like for example, the fractional rate for guiding, you can go straight to the setup and then do what you want to do and then exit. So you don't have to go through the choose your scope if you've already chosen it, but you can go through the setup button to go on ahead and set it up. Okay. So you can connect from here, you can get rid of this and connect from the main screen. I like to just do it from the main screen. And here we go, we'll try to connect. And this will be okay, well, we passed the first test.
All right.
Okay, so at this point, POTH is connected to the PMC-Eight, and I'm not going to show you guys the telescope because I don't have it here, but I do have the PMC-Eight connected by serial, and this is not a simulation, this is the actual machine. The only thing missing are the motors and the mount.
So he's got the box, so that's a feature that was, I don't know, I don't want to say it was intentional, but it worked out that way to where you can just hook your box up to your computer and use it. And since it's an open loop controller, it just assumes that the motors are doing what you're telling it to do. That's what it comes down to. So you can do development on the box without the whole mount being there and all that stuff.
Yeah, if you ever want to go away but full with stuff to see if you can hook it up and use it, it saves you having to haul them out, and you just throw the PMC-Eight and the power block, don't forget it, into your suitcase and take off. All right, now one thing that I want to be sure to tell you guys to do is unpark the scope right now. That's just like, got to get that thing unparked. Jerry and I experienced a bit of monkey brain problems earlier on when that was not on. Okay, so now the PMC-Eight is up, connected to POTH. That was step one. We need to go on ahead and start this helper app, which is Wi-Fi scope. So we'll boot that up, and we'll look at the Wi-Fi scope screen a little bit here. Can I leave it where it's at, or should I move it around? Is that good enough?
That's probably, you can move it over a little bit.
All right, it's one of these clumsy movers. There we go. Okay, so the first thing you'll notice about Wi-Fi scope is it is an ASCOM client, and so it has what amounts to a chooser window, so you can pick how you want to communicate. And of course, like all clients, if you're running POTH, or multiple clients, it's always best. I mean, you've got to go through the hub. You don't want to go up here and choose the telescope because you're going to just mess yourself up. Okay, so we're going to do that. So we're on hub.
Okay.
Hub, yeah, because you want everything to remember how the whole ASCOM architecture is a spoke and is a hub and spoke, and the path is the hub, and everybody else is a spoke.
Okay.
So, and one of the spokes, or I guess it's worth thinking about that. One of the spokes is the mount itself, the driver.
Right.
Not really. It's not got the same. It's more important than the other spokes at the clients, but it's okay. So look here now. We've got on this box here. We see some things. We see an IP address, and Wi-Fi scope is telling you all what the IP address is, and that's important because the phone is going to need to send its data from Sky Safari to that IP address.
That IP address is the PC that you're running the Wi-Fi scope on. Is that correct?
That's correct. And if you were to do IP config or something, you'd find that out. But you don't need to bother with figuring out what your IP is. Wi-Fi scope very considerately told you what it was. So we go bingo, there it is. And then the next thing you'll see is this port number, and that's how TCP/IP uses to distinguish applications. So 4030 is that you can change that apparently. I'm not going to change it, but it's and I know you can change it, but I'm trying to avoid the demonstration effect. So that guy stays at 4030, and you can fix anything you want. Just make sure in a minute you'll see where we're going to put that same number into Sky Safari. All right, Sky Safari has this other little attribute down here, and it's called show traffic. It's this little checkbox right there. Everybody can see. I'm going to hit it. And now you can see this is what's going to be reporting all of the command language back and forth between Sky Safari and Wi-Fi scope. And it's going to look like the command language that Sky Safari, that Wi-Fi scope recognizes, which happens to be, Scott, you'll enjoy this, it's the Meade LX200 Classic.
Cool.
All right, so I think we're all set on Wi-Fi scope. Jerry, I think we're good, right? Before I pull the trigger on the next step.
I think it's set up, and you should, we'll cross our fingers, and when you hit go, it'll start.
All right, so you went through the whole process, but let's just review exactly what happened one more time.
Well, now hold on, I haven't quite finished, but up to this point.
Up to this point, yeah.
Right, sure. Are you going to do that, or shall I?
You do that.
Okay, so what we did was we first connected I didn't show you this, we connected our PMC-Eight up to our PC with our serial cable, and we booted the PMC-Eight, and so that was the beginning of everything.
Okay.
Our PC was connected to our wireless LAN that we're going to employ, and I'll just state for the record that the PMC-Eight, of course, is already communicating by the serial cable. We don't have to go through that rigmarole. We've already done that in another time, in another place. So anyway, now we booted. We booted up POTH, so we start the ASCOM process. Made sure that we had it all configured for our Explore Scientific PMC-Eight driver.
Okay.
Then we connected and we unparked. And now we have the mount ready to communicate through POTH to a client. The client we opened was Wi-Fi scope.
Okay.
In Wi-Fi scope, we made sure that we were connecting to the POTH hub with this little window right there. And then we also just made note of the fact that we have an IP address and we have a port number, which we're going to use in a minute, but we didn't change them. And that IP address is the proper IP address to use. And Wi-Fi scope will always tell you what the IP address is there.
Okay.
The next thing I did was I went ahead and said, let's see what the traffic is when we start doing stuff with our Sky Safari, just so we can see that it's going. And then I'll turn that off once we get it cranking, just so we don't get a migraine watching the data fly, because there's a lot of it.
Okay.
Okay. So that's where we are at this point, and we're ready now to bring in, remember the little drawing, the third piece, which is the iPhone with Sky Safari running on it.
Okay.
All right, now the situation with the iPhone is it's on the wireless network and it has its own IP address. I think it's 1.100. It doesn't matter because he's going to be sending data to a particular IP address on the LAN, and TCP is going to return the data to that same socket back. So we don't need to worry about any of that. Just make sure that your cell phone is on your Wi-Fi network.
Okay.
All right. So I have all these apps here, but the one I want is this one at the top here, this guy right there. And that's Sky Safari icon, and it's starting. And there it is, started up.
This is coming through your phone right now.
Yeah, I guess if you switch over to my camera, you'll see that I'm holding the phone.
There, let me just kind of bring that up. All right.
I'm holding the phone, and
okay, and then
people may recognize
that display on the left is Sky Safari, and that's coming through, obviously coming through live on your screen.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Yep. We're not trying to fake it.
You're trying to.
Yeah. So
We're not
it looks real to me.
When it all blows up, you'll know it's real.
Yeah, that's
If
right.
it doesn't blow up, you'll just have to believe that it's real. But you can see I'm moving the phone around, and I'm getting this nice tracking function here.
Yeah. Okay. It's cool. All right.
Yeah. Okay. So now we're going to send you into crazy land here. So on the screen, you're going to see at the bottom here now, we've got some stuff. We've got some buttons, and I've got to get my pointer out of the way. Just read across the bottom of the telephone screen, and you'll see search, selection, settings, observe, time, scope. And this goes to some setups we have to do. And depending on your Sky Safari, how you loaded it and what you may have done to it, these little options down here, you see how it scrolls? I'm doing this with my thumb.
Yeah.
You may or may not see the settings wheel. It might start, say, like that, with the settings wheel somewhere else, because you can reorder where these things are on the bar. Now, this was a fresh load of Sky Safari I just did today. So this is probably the way it comes up default for everybody, and it had that right there. So that's the settings button. So I'm going to go ahead and push the settings, so we've got to make sure we have things set up right. Now, you can see the settings has all sorts of things that can be set. But we're interested in this demo, and you can play with all this garbage, by the way, and it makes it fun. You can customize the fool out of this. But we're just gonna, for this demo, we're just gonna focus on doing some work with the telescope here. We got to set up the telescope, so we're gonna push the button to bring up the setup telescope, and this brings the telescope setup page, and it points out what we have to do to get things organized. I mentioned earlier, the only scope type that Wi-Fi scope recognizes is a Meade LX200 Classic. So if you go, oh God, there we go, clicking the wrong device. If you go into the list, you can see that all these devices are supported by Sky Safari.
Okay.
And this is not a Sky Safari ad, so we're not going to go into them, but you can see I've picked the Meade LX200 Classic. Now that's what you do. You want that one because that's the one Wi-Fi scope understands. Remember, he's the intermediary between this thing and POTH, so you can't be messing. I'm gonna got myself nuts kicking the wrong buttons. All right, now the next thing you want to do is pick the mount type, and I did it again. And the mount type is this go-to with a fork, and that's just, again, paying homage to the Meade Classic. And I'm actually not quite sure if you pick the wrong one, what happens. But again, I'm not going to change it. I don't want to have the demonstration effect come in play. We're just going to stick with it the way it is because it does work there very well. Now, the next thing, remember we have an IP address over here on Wi-Fi scope, and it's 192.168.1.122, and you'll notice it's already, I put that in there earlier.
Nice.
But you'll see this is an active window, and you can put, if you get your right screen, you can put whatever number you want in there. See, or whatever number you need. It's not whatever number you want, and the one you need is the one that's in that Wi-Fi scope box. And now the port number you'll see is already set to 4030. So if you had changed this for some reason, you want it to be 8080 or something else, you can do it there, and then you come down here and you do it there, and then everybody will be happy. All right, so we're done. We're done with setting that up, so we're going to say we're done. And that's all there is to it. That's the only setting. Oh, gosh, shoot. Monkey brains. All right, so that's that. I'm going to get out of this the AR mode so it doesn't keep doing this stuff. All right. Okay. I'm just scrolling over to North because I know that
Did you say monkey brains?
I did. And there's a story
That
behind
on
it.
live social media?
Yeah, well, it was that or some other thing, and
Oh,
so
I see.
I think that was better.
Yeah,
I'll try not to say anything of any kind
yeah,
along those lines.
right. We'll stick with
It's a Calvin and Hobbes reference for the Calvin and Hobbes thing. You look that up and you'll have a good chuckle.
Yeah.
All right, so let's see.
Okay, so now you're over on Polaris.
Well, I just sort of did it because I know that's where the mount is, right? It's sitting at the NCP.
Okay.
So now I've got this menu bar. Now this thing, you'll notice there's this stupid, silly little thing that says connect right here. Well, that's only there. I mean, that's not necessarily there. It's there because it was brought up. So if it's not there, you use this little telescope icon to put it there. You touch the telescope icon and it appears. You see that? And touch it and it goes away. Touch it and it appears. Touch it and it goes away. So when you first buy this thing and set it up, that's probably not going to be there. You just have to bring it up when you're ready to connect. And
I want to remind you, Wes, that we have not connected the Wi-Fi scope to POTH yet before you do anything with the Sky Safari.
no, it's connected.
You didn't hit go.
I didn't hit go yet. Jerry's correct. We didn't connect POTH. We didn't connect Wi-Fi scope yet. So
Yeah, this would have been a demonstration effect if we hadn't done that.
Yeah, that one wouldn't actually be a demonstration effect. That would have been a dummy. That would have been a dumb move. So we're going to hit go now. So Jerry's correct. Before you start to go do something with your Sky Safari, heaven's sakes, let's get the catcher ready to catch. So now she's up and running. All right. Thanks. Yeah.
Okay.
That probably saved an explanation of some kind. So, okay, well, I'm going to push connect and hope that all the wheels and cogs are going to hold hands, because this is where it gets dicey around here right now. Ah, there we are. Now, if you look at the screen, you'll see that there's a Telrad. That's a Telrad circles.
Oh, that's cool.
And it's also got the blue box there. You can customize the equipment. And I've customized the equipment, telling it it's a particular kind of camera with a particular kind of telescope, focal length and everything. And it's showing me the camera field of view as it surrounds the object that we're pointing at. In this case, it's the NCP. So that's kind of nice. That's just a little plus. That's a little plug for the program.
NCP is the North Celestial Pole for those that are new to this stuff.
All right, very good. And I'm going to just kill off. You see the traffic flying by on the on the Wi-Fi scope, all sorts of traffic going, and I'm just going to get rid of that because it's working right now, and we don't want to see that go around there. Makes me nervous. Okay, now one of the things is I've got these dandy little up and down arrows here, and left and right, and these things are keypads for manual movement.
I see.
And now the NCP, I can't move it in right ascension and notice anything, but I can certainly move it in declination, and I'm going to do so, and we'll see it start to move. See that moving?
Yeah.
Now we'll go back the other way.
And you can see the numbers change on the POTH also to coordinate display the data, the position data.
Yeah, you've got POTH changing. You've got your where you're looking is right up here, I think, too. I think, or is it where I touched? It's both. So now let's just.
Why don't you go to a star or something?
I'm about to. Yeah, I wanted to get something nearby. We'll go to this guy right here. We'll go to this guy right here. We'll go to this guy. Come on, go. Oh no, get away. I tried to turn all that off. Come on. Oh, okay, there we go. All right, so I picked, what is that? How do you spell out? Eri? And now what we're going to do is we got a star picked, and this is normal sort of pick stuff. Did you hear it go ding? Did it go ding for you guys?
I didn't hear it.
No,
I've heard it before when you were on.
I did something where I thought I turned the audio off, so let me just see if I did that or not.
I'm getting notifications on my computer here, but
Let me try another star.
yeah.
Yeah, for whatever reason the audio is off. I'm not going to try to find out. It goes ping.
Okay, that's cool.
It goes,
Yeah, it's all working.
and
Try to don't try to.
I'm having a tough time. Things are. There's a bit of. I think my phone's crooked. Okay, there. Now I've got. Would you please pick and stay picked? I'm going to quit fooling with that and just go somewhere here. Fine. All right, so we're ready to use this button right here, which is mysteriously labeled Go To.
Go to.
So that's the one we're going to use. We're going to go to. So let's go to Iraq and cross our fingers. And it didn't go to. Nope, there it goes. Nope, yep, there it goes. And you say, where did it go, Wes? Well, it's moving.
Going.
You see the numbers changing on pause.
I see it's just cruised around on the outside of the.
It's tracing a path. It's following the scope. It's tracing the path the scope's taking as it moves in declination and right ascension. You see.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's going to be all over the sky. You should see this thing when it does a meridian flip. It just goes like bonkers. All right, so there we are, and we're centered up pretty good. And we can go there and take a look. And there we are. Now, one other thing, and at this point, maybe I can do this. Now I can actually rotate it in right ascension and see some motion with my keypad. I can center it up, you know.
Yeah. And at some moment here, I'm going to interrupt you, and we're going to go over some of the comments and questions that we have here.
Sure. Well, I'm almost done. I mean, let me summarize what we've done. We set up the system. We got all the components assembled.
Okay.
We booted the firmware stuff, the software stuff we needed that was in the PC. And then we brought up the application in the phone, and we started the application, made sure it was configured, and we connected. And bingo bango, the scope began moving, and we have our little keypad things here. And we have all these widgets and displays and things that you can play with, and it's working very well.
Okay. All right. Well, let's ask some. Let's go over some of the comments that we have here. Cesar Brolo had joined us. He says it's great that you're showing how to demonstrate with Sky Safari. Redbeard is watching on Twitch. He's giving me advice on how I should dress up my Twitch page. So he says I need a telescope emoji. I'll get one up there for sure. Mr. Thump30 says he has to go in a few minutes. I'm sorry if we already lost you, but he wanted to know what time David Levy is tonight. And so that's going to be at 6 p.m. Central, 0000 UTC, which is, midnight Universal Time. Gary Palmer is saying, I hope everybody's good. Redbeard on Twitch wanted to know if anybody's going for Jupiter and Saturn in the coming weeks. Yeah, they're all Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, Uranus are all out right now, and that really at least one great comet right now. So
Neowise.
Neowise, yeah, that's right. Let's see. Richard Grace, smash the like button. So yes, do that, and the subscribe button. Okay. Thanks for the heads up. Some very nice comments. Thanks, guys. Terry Holland says, on a Samsung Android phone, couldn't you just use Samsung DEX? Are you familiar with that?
If that's the question for me, I'm not.
I'm not familiar with it either. I haven't. Is that a specific app for astronomy programs or something similar to Sky Safari?
Samsung DEX. I don't know. Maybe it's a network connecting thing. I'm not sure. Andrew Corkell looks good. Andrew's out there in California. Red Beard on Twitch wants to know if ES has camera adapt. That he wants to know if we have a special adapter. I'm not sure if we have that M54 to M48 adapter. I will write that down, and if you Redbeard, if you send an email direct over to service@explorescientific.com, we'll get that answered for you. Let's see. Ola Drake says, I have a question. The Sky Safari is installed at the mobile phone, and the mobile phone is connected with a PC? Question mark.
Yeah, so no, the mobile phone is connected to a wireless LAN that the PC is also joined.
Okay.
That's how those two things are talking.
So through the wireless LAN, they're handshaking.
Yeah, oh yeah, they're sending data back and forth. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep. Y'all may have observed I just went ahead and went off to the southeast to look up the Sunflower Galaxy, and it did a nice little go around there. There she is.
There it is. There it is. Terry Holland, does the mount need to be aligned to Polaris before you click connect?
So always you want to have your mount polar aligned. That's the key. Okay. Yep. And for visual work, you polar align it a certain precision, and for photographic work, you polar align it to a higher precision. Since you're not using Explore stars to do this, you really want the thing to be pretty well polar aligned, because you don't do a 2 or 3 star alignment with Explore stars to try to take out the error in your polar alignment. So you get it pretty close, and then you're going to get fairly close to the eyepiece, plus or minus your polar alignment error. And so in that case, you might want a red dot finder still on your scope, but this will drive the scope around. And if you're not polar aligned exactly, the red dot finder, now you can use the keypad, these up and down arrows here, these left, right, up and down arrows, steer the scope around.
Regarding Jeff Wise on YouTube is saying you can set your phone so you can tilt it and slew the telescope. Have you tried?
No, I have enough trouble holding the phone.
Right.
Yeah. I know you can do that. You absolutely can. Yep. Yeah. You can steer it, and so that would be kind of fun for somebody that likes joysticks. Yeah.
The other thing about that previous comment you made, Wes, was that if you're not perfectly aligned, you slew to an object, you center it on a star with your finder, and then look in your eyepiece, you can sync the map or sync the mount coordinates on the chart to the star that you're at once you center it. That's an align function on Sky Safari, right?
Yes, it is, and we can demonstrate that, I think. I'm having a bit of a problem remembering. I think I can just scroll it. So here we have this star over here, HR 4997, right?
Yeah.
So we're gonna go there, right, Jerry? And then we're gonna do an alignment. Let's just see what happens.
So we're assuming that we say we've identified that star in our eyepiece. That's where we're at. But the Sky Safari or the mount doesn't say where we're at.
Yeah. What happened? Well, we got it in our eyepiece. Somehow we're able to tell that that's it. Like maybe we were going for Orion and we ended up seeing Allentak.
But you just slew to that star, so that's not the same case.
Well, let me see. Let me go back then. All right, hold on. You just messed me up, didn't you?
Yeah.
I messed you up.
He's good at
All right, so that case was, here's Sunflower right there. Go there.
Well, let's say we wanted to go to the Sunflower.
Hang on, let me get her back to Sunflower here. All right, okay. So there we go. But we missed Sunflower, right? What's your situation?
Right, we missed Sunflower. We don't see it in our eyepiece, but we have identified this other star as being in our eyepiece.
So that's the one we actually are centered on now.
Yeah.
So now we're going to tell it to align it, right?
That's right.
So here we go. So everybody take a look at the current right ascension declination on POTH. It's 1316 in the declination.
I want to zoom up on it, Scott. I don't know if you did that yet.
I did.
The deck is 4155, and all I'm going to do is push align, and I'm going to get a message that says, do you want to align it on 4997? I'm going to say, yes, please do align it. And there, you notice that the deck and the right ascension just changed because we told it that where you were pointing was there.
You actually really were pointing. Okay. So, of course, this is all a hypothetical because we ain't under the sky right now.
Yeah, but see, what it is it's very simple. What we just did was we did a sync. We tried to go to somewhere. We centered a star that we knew that wasn't where we meant to go because it happened to be a bright star next to a dim nebula or something. I mean, we had that in the eyepiece, and then we went ahead and we identified that star on Sky Safari, and we said, now that's the one you're looking at, independent of where you think you are, align it. That's your sync. Now, if you go to that dim space object, even with some misalignment and all based on your polar alignment, you should be able to get there pretty close as long as you do it pretty soon. I think that's some substance, isn't it, Jerry?
Yeah, so the other way that you do it also is through a plate solve. So you can identify where your scope's actually pointed at. With a plate solve on an image, you say, oh, I know I'm on this star, or this is where I'm located at, so I want to sync to that location. Now, I'm not sure how handy that is with Sky Safari, but that's basically what you do when you're taking images. Is that correct?
You're right. You go somewhere, and then it says, well, it plate solve and says, well, that's not where you're at. You're here, and then it does a sync, and then it moves to your place you want it to be.
Right.
Does plate solve and does a sync.
There are functions in Sky Safari and having to do with how well you're polar aligned, this kind of stuff. So. Not necessarily anything to do with how we're connected to all of this stuff. So,
right, the setup is we're really getting into the weeds on some applications.
Yeah.
But it's worth noting that Sky Safari will allow you to do a sync, and that's kind of where we need to leave it.
That's very cool. Now, Cesar Brolo down in Argentina wants to know if you can try this with similar software in Android. Okay, and what you might recommend.
Right. So the only thing I know, and I only know this from reading because I didn't ever load Sky Safari. See, it costs money on every instance, so I didn't load the Sky Safari 6 Plus on my Android tablet. But that's the only thing. Remember, we're running ASCOM, which right now is not going to be on an Android tablet. It might be in the future, but it's not now. And we're also running this Wi-Fi scope, which only lives in PC land.
Okay.
So the thing that you can do is have your hand controller, your Sky Safari, be on your Android.
Okay.
Yeah, right. So the Sky Safari is available for Android, just like it is for iPhone.
A lot different setup if you're moving from your iPhone to your Android. It's just, because you're handshaking with POTH and with your local LAN and the Wi-Fi client as well. So that's pretty cool. Now, okay, let's say you're doing this from your house and you've got, you have your Wi-Fi set up from your local area network at home. But what if I go to like the Okie-Tech Star Party or I'm out in the field somewhere? How does this all work?
Right. So this goes back to what we might have spoken about earlier. So you'll need to have a wireless access point that you can have your phone and your PC join. And it needs to be a routable network. So the way you can do that is Actually, the only way I do it is I have a old wireless router that ordinarily people would hook up to their internet, to their cable box, and then use it to run, Wi-Fi throughout their house. But it doesn't need the cable to be a wireless router. It's perfectly happy to be a wireless router just standing on its own, which is what it does.
Got to get power to it, and then you got a wireless router out there, and it's its own little Wi-Fi thing
Yep.
going on,
Put
but
up
it's
a
not
bubble.
connected to the internet.
That's right. And you might want to be a good neighbor to your other people, because everybody's got Wi-Fi now running on their equipment.
Yeah.
Turn your power way down, which you can do in a settings page on the router and stuff, and just make it so the bubble's as small as possible, so you don't crater everybody nearby. Oh, and speaking of cratering nearby, there is actually a fine point to using this thing. Every time I go through this, I always have a hard time when I'm doing it on my kitchen table, because I always forget the PMC-8 craters the Wi-Fi connection between the phone and the computer. So its Wi-Fi is pretty strong. So you got to move that computer and away from your PMC-8. Now I have it about 5 feet is all. That's all it takes. I mean, this is ordinarily you're going to be setting your computer on an observing table next to your telescope, and it's probably going to be 5 or 6 feet away from the PMC. So it's really not a problem.
There's one thing that I can suggest on that for the Exos 2 and the G11. You could, on the PMC-8, since you're using it serial with the cable anyway, you could make sure it's turned off. You could remove the antenna from your box and then turn it back on, and then it would work fine like that, and it would suppress the signal from the PMC-8 from the Wi-Fi.
So that helps, I'm sure, but I don't have an antenna on it. So
you don't have it on it right now?
No, I don't have it because I don't use it. So I actually run my PMC-8 antennaless all the time on my mount.
Oh, okay. So it's still pretty strong. That's amazing.
Well, I had it a foot away, and on the kitchen table, and that's death. So now it's 5 feet away, and it's fine. And I also think that if the phone is too close to the PC, it causes problems for each other's Wi-Fi connection. So as a general rule, I like to keep the phone 4 or 5 feet from the PC. Mm-hmm. I like to keep the PMC-8 4 or 5 feet from the PC. Okay. Walking around the telescope.
This problem, this cratering effect that you're talking about, happens to us when we go to trade shows, because we'll be like right up against the instrument saying, let me show you how this works. And we're literally 1 or 2 feet away, and it says it's connected, but ain't nothing happening. Okay.
Right.
So,
right.
And then you move further away, but everybody else has got Wi-Fi around you. So it is a problem, in that regard. When you, I would recommend that if you're going to be in situations where there's going to be a ton of people around, a lot of Wi-Fi, that you move to a wired configuration. So, and I don't know if you could be on a wired configuration with your Sky Safari on your phone. How do you think?
You could run Sky Safari on your PC, can't you, or not? I don't remember if that runs on PCs. I mean, you're going to be a PC anyway. If you can't run the Sky Safari, the only other alternative is a Bluetooth way, which the ASCOM pad, ASCOM does have a program called ASCOM pad, mm-hmm. which allows you to use a game controller connected to your PC to have a touch stuff at the eyepiece if you're looking at the eyepiece. But again, it's not the same as having your phone with a planetarium on it.
ASCOM pad, frankly, is you want the joystick, because ASCOM pad on your PC is worthless when you're peering through an eyepiece, because the PC is on the table.
Right, so that's why you need something portable to hold up while you're looking through the eyepiece.
Yeah, but maybe somebody out there can twix the answer to you there in the comments, but if the iPhone had a way to, through its Lightning connector, to come up with an Ethernet cable, you could cable onto the LAN that way.
yeah, that would
And
be
you could
good.
be all cabled, and it wouldn't know the difference because it's an IP connection.
Yeah,
So,
that'd be a good thing if you could. Yeah, if there was an Ethernet cable and through the Lightning connector on your phone, that would be awesome.
little dongle there. There's nothing new under the sun. There probably is one.
Okay. All right. So Jeff or Jim Norwood's question: do we need to be running a LAN in the field to do this? The answer is yes. Okay, but not hard to do. Dusty Haskins says, Scott, I have to confess, I pushed snooze today and missed NeoWise by about 20 minutes.
Oh!
He said, I was so frustrated. That's all that I was thinking about. With my mind elsewhere, I didn't even notice I loaded the wrong stuff into my van, and I set all the toilets, faucets, etc. And I set all the toilets and faucets, etc. I don't know, and didn't even realize it until my inspector didn't show up at the house. So, okay. Yeah, missing a comment can screw you up big time.
I think he just said he was so messed up, his workday went poorly. I think that's what he said.
Right. Okay. Nico says, I think a Wi-Fi net must do the work in the field. Maybe the cell phone can share Wi-Fi. We didn't even mention Kent wasn't here today, but he had a day off. So,
Oh,
yeah.
I wonder. Well, it's a demonstration of.
That's right. So,
Yeah, we could set up a Wi-Fi hotspot, but it Wi-Fi hotspot though may not work if your broadband's not there. But if you're in the field somewhere where there's broadband, you
Yeah,
probably
you'll have to try that.
yeah, that's the configuration I'll fiddle with. I hadn't even thought of that until that comment just came out of there. Dole. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Nico says, can I use some IP that wasn't on the LAN? I suppose.
No.
Oh, if I connect the telescope to internet.
How would he be
I don't know if
connected?
I would route it over the internet. Maybe the IP address and Wi-Fi scope. If I don't know. What depends. So you're saying you want to set up Wi-Fi scope on a network somewhere.
No,
You'd have to open up the router. You'd have to open up a router and map that port through the router, and make it available on the WAN, on the wide area network. And then maybe you could hook Sky Safari up over the internet to that IP address, the wide area network address with the port number that's been opened up into the local network. That's what I think that he's referring to.
Well, if he's operating, I don't know if that would be that complicated. If he's operating over the internet, that means that his PC is connected. Your driver's connected via the PC, and the way that's happening is through address translation, and it's all being handled.
Right.
So I think
it's
that all he has
it's called port forwarding.
Yeah, and so all he's got, but it's already there, and you don't have to do anything to your router because it doesn't necessarily have to be port forwarded on a hard routed method.
But typically that's the way it is. That's typically how you get access.
Well, you get stuff back and forth all the time across the internet without having port forwarding set up. It helps if you're having performance issues at least. But I am speaking outside of my area of knowledge pretty far. But I think it could probably be made to connect because in the end it's all IP routing that's going on here. And whether you need to set your port forwarding or whatever, Jerry, it's all IP routing. I bet it would ultimately work.
Well, this is a great project for all the people that are listening. It would be really cool if you guys tried setting up something like this and then report back on groups.io, and we can learn about what you're doing and offer more connection solutions. So that's very cool. Let's see, any other questions here? Comments. Okay. Jeff Wise says it works good with an iPad. Nico says, I think a Wi-Fi net most do the work on the field. Maybe the cell phones share Wi-Fi. Maybe. Uh, Wolfgang says, I miss Kent.
Okay.
You got a big thank you from Cesar Brolo. Nico says, can I use some IP that was, okay, we already talked about that. Mike Overacker, maybe someone can code the PMC-Eight to throttle back the Wi-Fi. Maybe.
Yeah, that's there's a lot of things we could do with the Wi-Fi that we haven't really pursued. It's not because we don't want to. It's a matter of time and what our focus is on our product development. So, and we want to share what we can with the community, the OpenGOTO community, and let them experiment and do things.
Well, another option would be to buy a dummy load.
It was pretty amazing that you were able to hook up everything and share the screen of your phone to broadcast here while we're simulcasting. That's pretty amazing. Wolfgang wants to know how to change the PMC-Eight password if I go to a star party and there are many users with a PMC-Eight system, ? Can I do it in the configuration manager?
It's no. There's no way to change it right now. You have to go and log into the Wi-Fi module directly and set that parameter. There's really no need. Doesn't matter if the password is the same or not, even if there's 100 different PMC-Eights. Each one's got its own specific IP address.
Oh, I see.
Its own SSID. I should say SSID.
They know the password, but they can't.
Right. It's got its own SSID, and the only confusion you might have is which one is mine. When you turn it on, you have to notice which SSID pops up when you turn your box on. Otherwise, you could theoretically connect to somebody else's mount. But again, if they've, it only would be during a time when nobody else is connected to it. So that could be a problem in the future if we get a lot of PMC-Eights out there in the field at certain star parties. But and that's, I'm sure, something we're going to work on is to be able to open up that configuration some more for people to change things.
Sure. Jim Norwood sounds like a good argument for serial connection. He further says, I like to look up the RA deck on Sky Safari and just enter it into Explore Stars. Okay, that'll work. Terry Holland, looking forward to giving it a try if I ever get clear skies again. I haven't even been able to use my new mount yet because of the clouds and rain. Again, Scott, thank you for your help with the mount. Yeah, depending on how much you really wanted that mount, that's how long it's going to rain. Okay, so that's how it is. Mike Overacker, Sky Safari is available for the Mac OS, but not Windows. Okay. Jeff Y. I use my phone as a hotspot in the field. Plus, you get internet that way. Brian Threlkeld, Scott, when are the 12-inch Dobbs going to be back in stock? I don't know the date right now. I would have to go and ask someone myself. But if you contact us back in customer service on Monday, they'll give you an exact update. Terry Holland, I'm going to use my 4G hotspot router. It has 4 Ethernet ports. Cool. And anyways, that's kind of the end of the comments there and questions. We've run just about an hour on this program. We did have some other things that we wanted to show, but I think that probably we could show those things on Monday. We wanted to show some astrophotography with the IXS 100. And there's a couple other things we wanted to mention, but those can be saved for Monday as well. We have to get ready for our next show, which is going to be with David Levy. I really am glad, Wes, that you came on the show with us today. It was very interesting, showing us how you connect up Sky Safari to operate the PMC-Eight system. Jerry, thanks for working on all this as well with
Sure.
and
Yep.
if anybody out there wants to do such a connection, get in touch with us on groups.io. I always put a link into the posts of this program so that you can go there. If you're not already a member, it doesn't cost anything. You just join. So
Yeah, and Wes is going to post the document that explains this stuff here in the next day or two when he gets it done.
yeah, very good, excellent. Well, I think that's going to be our show for today. Thanks everybody for watching. I'll be back on in a few more minutes, less than an hour, and you guys have a great weekend if we don't see you then. So take care and keep looking up, guys.
Thanks a lot.
Bye-bye.